there guys, how's it going? 76 here today with another episode of How to Build a Cruise Ship. So, today we are going to be working on the radar tower and finishing up the exterior detailing, so let's go ahead and get started. So, we're going to go ahead and start with the radar tower. So you may be wondering, what is a radar tower and why do we need one? Well, a radar tower is basically a communications place. It's like, you know, you see your normal radio towers that are sticking out of the ground that are huge. So that's pretty much the same thing, but on a small scale on the ship. Now, they do look different than, the normal building ones, or the towers that you see, like, the huge, like, I don't know how to describe them, but they're just, like, absolutely massive, so, bear with me. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make a superstructure kind of thing going on right here, because it needs a support, just like the funnel. Because you can't just keep this thing on the ground, or else people are going to play with it. That's just kind of rule of thumb if it's important to keep the passengers away. So we're going to go ahead and fill up this wall, and we're going to do pretty much the same kind of platform like I said with the funnel, because this is a really crucial part of the ship, because if someone messes with this part, then the ship has no idea where to go. So very, very, very good idea to keep this thing blocked off to citizens. Alright, so lots of filling in. Gotta make it look somewhat aerodynamic. Like, if you see what I mean, like, if you see what I mean, it's kind of like an arrow shape, because it is on the top of the ship, so it's going to experience a lot of wind. And, that's another thing, is that in the front of your ship, you may want to put, like, something like a double layer glass thing. Like, here, let me show you. We'll get, like, a glass pane. So what you might want to do, if you want your ship to be realistic, is make a double high glass wall right here. And the reason that is because you don't want your passengers being blown in the face. Now, usually if you're on a cruise ship, those decks don't have to have them because they'll just close them, but it's kind of hard to close the whole upper deck up here. So, yeah, we'll finish that wall later. But back to the radar tower. Again, it's gonna have to be aerodynamic because it is facing, probably about 50 knots of wind. It's a lot of wind, and that might be exaggerated a little bit, but I usually use quartz. You can use wool, but it'll be a little bit blocky. But personally, I would use quartz. Get every block you can, every quartz slab, every quartz stairs, and just kind of go up with it. So I'm gonna do kind of a funkier design, so kind of bear with me. But if you notice what I'm doing, it goes one slab, two slabs, and then we're gonna go up one slab, and again 2 slabs, one slab, 2 slabs. So it's not too pointy, or it doesn't go straight up, or it's not too slanted, but it is slanted to a point. Because if you do a 45-degree angle one, it's gonna look like it's just going up way too fast. But if you do it too slanted, then it's just gonna look really, really awkward. So you want just about right, which actually that looks probably just about right. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and fill these just so it looks more structurally sound. But there, and you can play around with it a little bit, but it will look a little bit off because you did do this pattern, so you kind of gotta get used to that. And I forgot how I did the pattern. Alright, I think that's good. So there we go. So then you want to double check with your exterior, because again, this is a major part of the ship, so you want to make sure it looks good, which it does, in my opinion. So now we're gonna go ahead and make the back of it. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can make one that goes straight up the middle and then one on the side, or you can just do one on the side. It's easier to do one in the middle so you get the basic shape, so I'm going to do it for the sake of this video, but you can do it so it's like kind of like a tripod, but ours will be whatever tripod plus 1 is. That's what it'll be. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of indent it, and then I'm going to kind of make it bend back a little bit, kind of like we do with the funnel, because it'll make it look more advanced, kind of. But don't be too crazy with this. So, something like that looks about right. And then we're going to go ahead and add another one. Actually, no, one thing you can do is just copy this one. Oops. That was a fail. Good job. So, you can actually just do this. You just copy it, because it should be the same exact shape. And we'll go ahead and place it somewhere roughly around here. So it's kind of like in a triangular shape. So something like that. And then we're going to want to add the platform. So, it's going to be, again, you want triangular. Kind of like this, but not too directly triangular, or else it's gonna look like a noob. Just, to the point, so that it looks like this nicely. See, nice. And then we're gonna want to add support beams, because this thing's not just gonna stand on 3 legs. Yeah, I wish it would, but it wouldn't. So just kind of make a little beam that comes out, and tweak it a little bit. Don't make it just super flat, because that's no fun. That's boring. Just kind of make it so it's equivalent, like that. It's kind of equivalently going back. And I usually do this every slab up. You can do it any way you really want, but that's just my personal preference, is doing it every other slab, because it just looks more structurally sound that way. So I'm gonna go ahead and speed up the camera so it didn't take too long. Okay guys, so now that we got that all done, as you see I kind of made it slant up a little bit, and you know, that's kind of another thing with adding style to the ship, because you don't want it just to be plain, you want it to have some sort of style, and oops, I skipped one right there. Oops, oh well, that doesn't really matter, it can be skipped, it doesn't matter, because usually actually with these beams, that's another good point, is that they're not always even, so if you want to play a little bit with it, or make it have a certain feature on it, you most certainly can. It'll, you know, you can make it look kind of how you want, because these things, again, are very funky looking sometimes. You should see some of the ones on ships, so we'll just ignore that space right now. It really doesn't matter, but I'm going to go ahead and put a marker back here so I remember it's there. So, and again, you just do the same exact thing for the back, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so now we have the back. As you can see, this one isn't as pointy because it doesn't have to be aerodynamic in the front because it's not facing the wind, but that is facing the wind. So again, double check, make sure the radar looks good with the ship, which I do believe it does. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the top of the radar. So the top of the radar usually consists of a beam, maybe a couple sonars. So what I like to do there is like to add like this little extra thing kind of poking out just for a little bit of style. And of course, get your iron bars because, you know, supposedly people are allowed to be up here, or crew members are supposed to be up here. That's supposedly. I doubt they ever go up here. And actually, that's a little bit off, so I'm just going to go ahead and raise that by 1. No big deal. There we go. So then we have that little majig up there. Oops, it's turning. Time set. Oh, no, it's raining. Don't rain on us. Don't not fall. Alright. So, as you see, it's kind of just basic. You can also add your little antennas out here if you'd like, you know, for better radar communication. You can go ahead and just, like, add another thing out here. If you want to get, like, a couple of fences to represent more antennas, you most certainly can. You know, just do something like this, or just put, like, sticking out there or something. Put a little thing right there. You know, it's all, again, personal preference, depending on how detailed you want your ship. But another thing with the radar towers, you want these little things sticking out. At least probably 2 or 3 of them, because these are going to be your sonar. I believe it's sonar. Could be wrong on that. And I actually just did that completely wrong, so pardon that. But make sure that it's lined up with an actual block so that you can put the fence down. That was a really dumb moment. But anyway, so it doesn't, you know, so the fence doesn't float. So, but anyways, what we want to do is just kind of add like these things. And be careful when you flip the ship, these things are going to not be right, because it's supposed to technically look like this. It looks like a little beacon spinning, you know, spinning things, but it's going to, when it flips over, it's going to copy to be like this, and that doesn't look right, so you're just going to need to fix that when it flips over, just for future reference. So, there we go, I have the basic structure, and on the inside, you are going to want to add some structure as well, because this thing's not just going to hold itself up with these little 3 beams, so, you know, you can put, like, this little guy in here, which is just a support beam that holds up the thing, and then you can add, you know, like beams where you want them in here, or if you want to add like one facing forward or something, you can add like little legs right here so this thing's more stable. Really, whatever you want to do, you know, to make this thing look more structurally sound, you most certainly can do, just to make it look that much more realistic and go that 1 extra mile. But there we go, so that is a pretty good radar tower, so now we're going to go ahead and make what's around it, which is just pretty much the rest of this platform. So I'm going to go ahead and put iron. Usually that's how you get to all my ships. If it's an iron fence, it's a crew-only area. If it's a glass fence, it's usually a passenger area, with the exception of the, what's it called, deck 5. So you just go ahead and do that. You can also make this wood blue if you want, because some of them are blue metal. Very rarely, but some of them are. And you can even add like a ladder right here if you want for the crew. So we can do that. Get a ladder out, so, you know, so this is how they get up here and access the thing. You even put a ladder inside there if you want to, but I'm not going to, just for the sake of time. Time set today. So yeah, now that's actually a pretty good radar tower. I'm pretty happy with that. So, like I said, continuing on this before I flip the ship, this is actually a good thing, is that you want to make it so that, like I said, it's 2 blocks high, kind of probably until about there, because that's where the wind is going to stop blowing. So, stack, oops, nope, stack 2 up. Nope, that didn't work out, did it? Gosh, you should just stack 1 up, I believe. There we go. Okay. And then you could go, always, you can add some carpets on it, just to add some more detail to the fence. Oops, did I seriously just do that? Okay, there we go. So then you can add, like, fences on the top. These things are an absolute pain to place, though. Get it? Glass pane. I'm so funny. I have no jokes. But again, they are kind of difficult to place, so that's why I typically don't do this a lot. But for a tutorial, so you guys can have the best ship you can build, I will do it. So you do something like that, and then you can also add like little support beams to hold the giant glass pane up by putting like these little guys maybe every 4 blocks, you know, every 4 glass panes, just to make it look a little bit more detailed, because I know that's what a lot of people look for, except for PMC, because PMC is special. Just kidding, PMC people who are watching this, just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, and then be sure to replace the carpets above it, because you don't want that to just look weird and awkward, but there you go, and then it has like a nice little viewing area from like the, if you can make that the adult area. And then now, before you flip the ship, one thing you're going to want to do is do the glass railings, and the reason you want to do this now is because you don't want to do it later, because you're going to have a lot more ship to cover if you do this later, and it's a lengthy process, so for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and speed up the camera. Okay guys, so now that we have all the railings placed, you pretty much have completed funny, you have pretty much completed most of the railing work, so we are almost ready to flip the ship. However, there is one thing that I would highly advise you doing, and actually really quickly, I should explain this why we're not doing the Lido deck. So, you may be wondering, why aren't we doing the pools right now? Why aren't we doing the lounge chairs and all that stuff? Well, basically because the ship sometimes is not perfectly symmetrical when you put a pool in. Sometimes you want it to be different, so it's kind of like a resort style. Sometimes you want to correspond with the interior, so it's just a better idea not to do your Lido decks or your pools beforehand. So I would advise keeping these decks plain. You can, however, do it. It's just I would not recommend doing it. But the one thing that I would recommend doing before you flip the ship, and it's completely up to you, but if you want a jogging track or any type of field, anything, since jogging tracks are almost 100% of the time symmetrical, and they're an absolute pain to get symmetrical, I would highly advise doing that first. So usually it goes around the funnel, and it's usually on this deck on Carnival ships. So we're going to go ahead and do that really quickly. So to get a basic shape, I'm just going to go ahead and just kind of drill holes in the ship. And the reason I'm doing this is just so I can get a basic feel for what I want the track to look like, and we can get a pretty good circular motion. So, you know, something like that. So then we can kind of see, okay, do we like this track? Do we not like this track? So, and also don't judge me on my track making skills. I've never run a track in my life, so I honestly have no idea what it's supposed to look like, but just kind of bear with me. So then again, just kind of follow the path that you made so that it kind of sort of looks the way that you want it. It doesn't matter if it's not perfectly symmetrical, you know, sometimes it doesn't matter if it's perfectly 3 blocks over. It's just more or less that it looks like a jogging track too. And then this will probably just be the stretch right here. And also, don't make a 1-to-1 scale jogging track, because I'm not sure, I don't know how long they are, but I think like with just one edge is 100 meters. That's half of a ship right there. And I don't even know if that's right. I just thought that they're about 100 meters long, so I could even be wrong on that. But I would highly, highly advise do not make a full-size track. They are very, very, very big. Actually, it'd be kind of funny though to see a full-size track on a cruise ship. You just imagine that. It'd just be like so massive. It'd just be huge. But yeah, anyways, completely off topic. But yeah, just kind of tweak your track, make sure that it looks good in the way that you want it. I'm gonna double check mine over here because this kind of looks kind of awkward. So maybe I'll just make this look a little bit longer like that, and then it looks more circular. And then we'll go ahead and fix some of the stuff I did down here. Yeah, just kind of play with it a little bit. You know, it never hurts just to tweak things here and there. So there you go, now have a nice little round track. So, to make your track, several different colors you can use. I like blue. These are usually only on cruise ships, but I like blue. You know, I think normal tracks are usually either black or like a weird clay color, but like I said, usually on cruise ships they will be blue because it is typically blue metal that they use to make them, or it's just painted over the metal that's already on the deck. So we're going to go ahead and just fill that with blue. About 40 blocks, see if that works, which didn't get quite the full range over there, but that's fine. Right, oops. There you go. And you can, you can add like little markings here and there if you want on the track. If you want it to be detailed, you know, like 100-meter markings or 50-meter markings. Have like lanes if you want, but this is only a very basic one because it is a smaller sized vessel. It's much smaller than some of the stuff I built in the past. So there we go. There's a nice little track going on the ship. So yeah, now we are ready for the part that you guys have been waiting for, that have been seeing in the comment section, and that is to flip the ship. So the reason I waited this long is because it's going to save you an immense amount of time. So you're going to want to go where the symmetrical line between the top and the bottom is, because remember, the bottom is still symmetrical from the last time that we flipped the ship. So all we got to do is just copy the half, or the upper half. So what you're going to want to do is go to the very back of the ship, go to the dead center, and I just realized this is not even. And see, there's a big problem, because now we gotta figure out what side's not even, that side's not even. So we want to copy it from the middle like this. See how it's dead center? It's exactly what you want. Farthest back point, which is right there. Then we're gonna go all the way to the front of the ship and to the farthest left that we possibly can go, or at least the farthest left that the ship reaches, which I believe is the edge of the bridge up there. So it's kind of a long haul, but we'll get there. It just takes some time. Get there eventually. Any day now would be nice. Ooh, there's a marking down there. Actually, I'd like to get rid of that really quickly. But yeah, so this looks like it is the farthest point possibly from the ship. So to get this accurate, what I would do is line up with it perfectly and just drop until you line up with this block, which I forgot I had shaders on, so it's not going to be perfectly symmetrical, but whatever. But usually you'd be able to see like the outline of like a block, something like that. But unfortunately I'm using shaders because shaders look nice, so I don't see it, but I'm assuming it's probably something about right there. So then we make sure that we're in front of the ship, which we are, and I'm not symmetrical. This will make me symmetrical. I don't know, I'm not good at this right now. But yeah, just double check that you're symmetrical, because it is a really, really, really big world edit, and if you screw up on this, then well, you're going to be in a world of hurt. I'm going to go ahead and set it to daytime. So then you're going to want to go all the way up to the tallest reach of the ship, which I think is either the funnel or the radio tower, but just go a little bit more up just to be safe. So this should be good, and that will be your second position, position 2. And go all the way back down, like that. Face the sun, copy, and then flip. And then we're going to go ahead, go to the center of the ship, make sure you're lined up with that block. So right about there. We're going to go ahead and paste it. I'm actually just going to break these blocks just so that I have a reference point in case I mess up, which I didn't. Oh wait, I think I did. Give me a minute. Oh, it's not even going through yet. Give it a minute. The lag. This is another thing, is that this might take a couple minutes because the lag on your computer may vary. So that's just something that you might want to take into consideration. And, come on, Minecraft, don't crash. Uh-oh, it's crashing. This is another thing, is that if you wait too long, your computer may not be able to handle it. Keep in mind, my system runs 16 gigabytes of RAM with like an AMD processor, so it may take some time, and you may have to restart the game, which might be what I have to do really quickly, but I'm not sure. But in that case, I'll just go ahead and flip the episode. You know what, guys? I'm actually just going to go ahead and I'm just going to go a quick transition to when I actually get this working, so enjoy. Alright guys, well now you can see that we got it working, so luckily I didn't have to restart my Minecraft, so yay. And as you see, we have our whole ship pasted here, perfectly. So we have a full exteriorized version of this ship, so that means that next week we will begin the interior, the dreaded interior. Just kidding, it really isn't that bad. So next week, expect it to probably be in the engine room. And thank you guys also for the support of this series. This series has gotten significant amount of support, so I'd really like to thank you guys about that. About 1,000 views every episode, so that's really, really nice. So anyways, guys, the download for this thing will be in the description below. Also, keep in mind, if you use this ship for your private use, that is fine. Just please be sure to give me credit for the design. Even if you change it slightly, I still want the credit for the basic ship, because I've seen some people already on YouTube trying to copy it, so please don't do that. Just make sure you get me credit for the basic design, and I would very much appreciate that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to tune in next week, and as always, have an awesome day.